Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Brendan and welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, it is great to have you. And today I want to talk about this giant bull flag that is being painted on the one-day chart of Bitcoin. Now, most recently, Bitcoin bounced off of this one-day 50 EMA once again. If you guys have been around for the most recent videos, I've talked about how Bitcoin has been using this as a consistent support for over 6 months now, with this being no exception to that rule. So if that sounds interesting, make sure you guys stick around for the entire length of the video, as there will be important information discussed the entire way through. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive on into this one. So with Bitcoin really bouncing off of this 50 EMA once again, this is no secret. Again, I've talked about this a lot because it's a very important support, and I talked about how strong of a support this 50K area would be, because not only do we have this 50 EMA, which has held the test of time, but we also have $50,000, which is going to be a very strong psychological level. Now, on top of all of this, we have this falling parallel channel that I want to break down on a 4-hour time scale so that we can see this in just a little bit more depth and potentially even draw a heart line in here to see where the main resistance and support levels will be towards both the up and the downside. So with the secondary support coming in on Bitcoin, we can see that we do have a couple of touches over here on this guy, signifying that we really have used this as support in the past. But on top of this, we have a kind of a mumbo jumbo zone where we have the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA no longer really being important here. So when the EMAs are being disrespected on one time scale, they're probably respecting the EMAs on another time scale. Now, the only two ones that I use are the 4-hour and the 1 day. So now that we're respecting the 1 day EMAs, it's most likely that we are going to kind of be playing around in this range for a little bit, bouncing around inside of this giant bull flag and playing around in this parallel channel, probably touching the heart line to and through a couple of times. But now I want to take a minute and talk about the sponsor of this video, MarketSquare by Arc.io. So they recently published a video called The Blockchains of Ready Player One, where they explain how blockchains can power virtual reality-based experiences, much like we see in the movie Ready Player One. Now, we already know that blockchains can power things like NFTs, smart contracts, and even decentralized applications, but perhaps one of my favorite things in the video that they point out is that blockchains are already powering virtual reality environments like they are doing in Somnium Space. Now again, they talk about a whole lot more than this. They talk about the progression of how blockchains are already powering these virtual environments and how we are getting closer and closer to a Ready Player One like environment every single day. So if any of this sounds interesting, make sure you guys check out Arc.io and make sure you guys check out MarketSquare. I'll have all of their stuff linked in the description down below, and I highly recommend you guys watch this the entire way through. Now, getting back into the video, I want to talk about exactly where Bitcoin bottomed and why it's so important to show the strength of Bitcoin at this level. Because when Bitcoin bottomed here, it wasn't only the 50 EMA, it wasn't only the secondary support, and it wasn't only the fact that this was a large psychological support as well. This was actually the previous top for Bitcoin and now turned the current bottom. And this is a really good sign of bulls here, because when you have what was formerly double micro resistance turned into now a macro support level, and on top of that, seeing some really good buying pressure pushing Bitcoin through not only the 200 EMA but the 50 EMA on the 4-hour time scale, that's a really good thing to see. In fact, this guy shot all the way back up towards the top of this resistance level just below $57,000 before seeing its first real rejection today, all of which have closed above the 50 EMA on this 4-hour time scale. Now, something that needs to be noticed is that when Bitcoin's not being used, or when the EMAs on Bitcoin are not being used on the 4-hour time scale, it's probably because it's respecting it on another one, like the 1 day, like we'll look at in just a second. But when Bitcoin's doing this and bouncing off of the 1 day, it's going to make sense that it might be playing around and bursting through those 4-hour EMAs just a little bit more frequently. Now, I do want to take a quick look and look at the MACD and RSI of Bitcoin on this daily chart, because we can see that this MACD has already started to round up towards the upside with a form of double bullish divergence flowing right with it. So as if there's not enough bullish sentiment in the market of Bitcoin right now, we had a beautiful dip. Now we're seeing double bullish divergence. We're seeing a higher macro swing low, once again holding the beautiful 1-day 50 EMA. And it certainly looks like we're getting into a squeeze, if not a bull flag at that. What this really does show is that people are comfortable buying Bitcoin at this level. When Bitcoin does dip, people are still buying it up very clearly. I mean, this thing, if we want to go ahead and measure it out, we've already seen about a 12% bounce in the price of Bitcoin after a pretty nasty move into the weekend. So as maybe that's stimulus money, maybe that's just people's personal finances, maybe that's flowing out of other assets like stocks, commodities, precious metals, whatever it may be, money is still flowing into Bitcoin on these dips, and that's a really good sign to see. Now, the big struggle for Bitcoin here is that it really needs to hit this new high. These are still consistent lower swing highs, but I guess that comes with it being in a falling channel or even a bull flag. But if Bitcoin breaks out here and forms any kind of a higher high or breaks this downtrend of these consistent lower swing highs, I think it'd be a very bullish argument for Bitcoin hitting a new all-time high in the coming months. So that's going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you guys want to check out any of the sponsored content, all of that will be linked in the comment section, or excuse me, the description down below. Really cool video. Again, highly recommend you check it out. As someone who loves video games and virtual reality, I thought it was pretty cool. So all that's going to be linked down there, guys. Appreciate you guys watching the video, and I will see you guys all very, very soon.